Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/relationships, where OP did everything correctly, so his wife threw it down the toilet. Let's begin. My wife cheated on me with my friend during a night we were all drinking together. Posted by Reddit user Milk with Spaghetti.
I've been with my wife for 7 years. This weekend my best friend comes over to our place to hang out. We're all drinking and having a great time. Around midnight I pass out honestly from just tiredness. I had 4 drinks but just get sleepy early. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. in a panic because music is still playing. And I go to the bedroom and my wife is not there and I don't know where they are. No reason to think infidelity at this point. My life is honestly perfect. Her phone is still on our table and our patio door is open. Double panic. We have cats and one of them isn't inside. I go out and they walk up and said they were looking for her phone that I give her. I then spend the next 12 hours looking for our cat after a shit night's sleep and asked my wife why the door was open and where they were. She said they were walking around the complex talking about his relationship with his serious girlfriend and his move to another city, as that's something going well in his life. He's been a great friend and honestly at this point one of my only friends. After a shit day, walking 17,000 steps through mild hangover, I find the cat. So happy our family is back together. I shrug off the open patio door as an honest mistake. It was hard to close. We watch TV and hang out that evening and I feel so relieved. Then I get a call from my friend that next night saying he has to come clean and says that they kept drinking way too much and my wife came on to him. That she told him she wants to fuck him and put his hands on her. That they made out and did not have sex, but that he regrets it and they stopped before that point. I hang up the phone and ask my wife what the fuck is he talking about. She says it's true, that they did that and stopped and regretted it. I'm so confused. Our life was perfect. I spent 12 hours of full-on anxiety to find our missing pet that I was worried was dead and was only missing because she was cheating on me. And to top it off, that she didn't tell me. She says she's sorry. She doesn't know why. That she was really drunk. That she's sabotaging this and wants to go to counseling. That she wants to stop drinking. I didn't even think she really had a drinking problem. But there is a very rare occasion I'm thinking about now where she has too many drinks and it's a disaster situation. After a girls' night I remember her banging on the window at 5 a.m. crying. Because she almost got arrested and lost her home keys. Well, that and now this. I said of course I loved her, that's why this hurts so much. We just got married. We just had a big wedding. And fine financially, but what in the fuck point was all that big show for? We aren't fighting. Our relationship has been amazingly good and we've worked hard to build our life together. I'm going to voluntarily travel out of town for work this week. My work at the moment is so busy it's incredibly stressful. But I still make a big effort to prioritize my personal life and give my wife the love and attention she deserves. We are childless and have the time. I felt like my role in life was to do good and be a good husband to my wife. Don't know how I'm going to focus, but I'll try to use work as a distraction. I feel like I'm doing everything right. I was so happy. I trusted infinitely and put my love all out there. I know she wouldn't do this if she wasn't drunk, but what in the actual fuck? She still made the choice to drink that much, to walk with him to his car. I was here asleep on the couch while my wife is busy letting our pet out and shattering the perfect image I had of our life. This is going to be shitty if I can't trust her. I'm so mad she didn't say anything either. Was she just going to lie about it forever? I asked her and she says she doesn't know. She tried cuddling me at night and I just said let me sleep. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. Very sad, mad, betrayed. TLDR. Wife in perfect relationship cheated on me while we were drinking with a friend and I went to bed early. Not sex, but I didn't find out until the next day when the friend told me. I feel very hurt.
You see, that's the problem, OP. You did everything right. You gave her everything that you have. You gave her everything that she wanted, and all was perfect. So she got bored. Look, man, you better hire a lawyer. Think about what would have happened if your ex-best friend didn't have at least some semblance of morals. Would you have ever known? Hell fucking no. I think you have way more of a shot mending fences with your friend someday rather than your wife. Sounds like she wouldn't have stopped if he hadn't. Kick her to the streets where she belongs and move on, donut. And now for today's second story. Am I the asshole for telling my dad I have zero interest in meeting his new family? Posted by Reddit user BayWindowBitch.
I haven't had a relationship with my dad since I was 8 years old. It broke me when my dad left because it wasn't just him. I lost my aunts and uncles, cousins, grandparents. They all stopped talking to me. I've been in therapy since I was 11. I worked out a lot of my issues about my dad. My mother remarried when I was 7. I have a stepdad and 2 brothers I love very much. I am applying to colleges and feel happier than I ever have. 3 weeks ago I got a call from my dad. He told me he was engaged. He was getting married in the fall. He wanted me to come to a reunion so they can get to know each other's family and I can get to know my new siblings. He said she wanted to meet his kids before they got married. My father has 3 kids, me, my brother and sister. I have a relationship with my sister, but we're not close because she lives far away. I hung up. I couldn't deal with it. I was emotional and I bawled my eyes out. The next day I called my dad. I told him I had no interest in meeting his new family, that he was cruel for abandoning an 8-year-old. Even more cruel for reaching out because he was forced to do so. I already had a family I was happy and secure with, and I had no interest in him being in my life because he was no longer my dad and to not contact me. I called my sister to ask if he reached out to her. He did, and she was going to go. I told her the conversation. She said what I said was appropriate because it was true, but I could have been nicer about it. I was a bit sad, but my family was there to comfort me. My sister sent me a link to a Facebook post that my new stepmother had shared, saying she couldn't believe that a perfect man could have such terrible children. My sister told me she was not going to go to the reunion because she agreed she didn't want to meet this woman after what she said about us. I thought that would be the end of it, and though that post upset me, I tried to let it go. But I started getting calls from my father's side of the family, even my brother, telling me I was a bitch, an asshole for ruining the reunion by telling my dad he wasn't my dad. They told me that he canceled the whole thing and he was questioning whether he should get married at all. They told me I could have reached out. It wasn't fair they were being the ones blamed for the falling out. I have since blocked them. I did see a post on Facebook saying my dad postponed his wedding. But now I can't stop thinking about what they said. I mean, yes, I could have reached out, but I feel that's not fair because I was 8. I shouldn't have to be the one that makes amends. I know that I was harsh and could have gone about telling him I didn't want him in my life a nicer way. But I don't think I did anything wrong. Maybe that's because everybody around me is taking my side. I've had multiple people tell me I'm an asshole. I feel guilty and I want an outside perspective. Am I the asshole? Edit, I just want to add some stuff. My sister is 23, my brother is 28. My mother had nothing to do with my family cutting me out. 2 years ago, I called my dad under the advice of my therapist. When he answered, I started crying and he didn't say anything, he just hung up on me. I think that's when I really moved on from my dad.
Well, he was the asshole who hasn't contacted you since you were 8 years old. And if I were you, I would have answered his new bitch's Facebook post with what kind of perfect man abandoned his 8-year-old daughter only to contact her again when she was 17 years old. Well, to be fair, I am a very petty individual. Plus, I'm an asshole. But not you, OP. You handled this really well, much nicer than I would have. Well done, young lady. And now for today's final story. Am I the asshole for telling stories about my mom's questionable parenting techniques to my friends and family? Posted by Reddit user Terribly Confused Gay.
I went home to my parents' house this week for a Jewish holiday. I brought 2 friends of mine because they wanted to see what it's like. Also attending were my sister, her boyfriend, my brother, and my parents. I've already told my friends stories about how my mom would act when I did something that was disappointing in her eyes, how she always threatened to disown me, or that I was barely allowed to make any decisions at all in my life. I know that she loves me, but she's done many things the wrong way and hurt me pretty badly in the process. Of course, she doesn't want to hear any of that. It doesn't matter that she once told me I was the biggest regret of her life, or the biggest shame of the family. I was called that because I finished 10th grade with a grade point average of 2.2, which is not bad at all. In her opinion, all of that is totally fine because she loves me and only wants the best for me. Obviously, I didn't want any drama while my friends were over. Plus, I hate arguing with my mom since she has a tendency to say very hurtful stuff. But frustration and a bit too much wine got the better of me. You see, since the moment my friends arrived, all my mom could say about me were my flaws and the things I do wrong. Not one word of pride has come out of her mouth, and even my friends noticed. It was almost as if she tried to drag me into the worst light possible in front of my friends, and I was at a point where I almost broke down crying. When I meet my friends' parents, they always say nice stuff. Sure, a funny hib here and there is normal, but that was just devastating. Even my friends noticed it. So I started telling stories about how she made me cry when I was a child and she had to teach me spelling. I'm severely dyslexic and was simply not capable of spelling certain things right, so she kept pushing and pushing until I cried. I also told the story of how I had to perform a song and she had helped teach me by literally breaking my spirit until I could sing the right tones. That, by the way, is a story my siblings and I share, and she usually finds it funny. Now she's mad at me for telling these stories and making her look like a monster in front of others. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole here. Your mother being embarrassed by her own behavior speaks a million words. I'm sorry you have to deal with that, OP. But I sincerely believe that you need to go minimum contact with your mother, at least for a little while. That's not questionable parenting behavior. It's outright emotional abuse. Go to therapy, man. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.